Hi, welcome to the Shelly Studio. My name is Margelle, and I'm very excited. This is my first video as a, I'm putting air quotes here, instructor on my creative year. So I was just pointing there with the color wheel. We were working on warm colors this month, and so I decided to pull out my stash of craft paint that fit the category of warm colors. And violet is also considered a warm color, but I think it's kind of cool, so I left that one out and just went for the basics: red, orange, yellow, and brown is also considered warm, and tan, so I put a few sort of tannish colors in this crazy background that I'm doing. Basically just dumping some color on here. My goal is to use up all my craft paint. I have a lot of mostly empty bottles, and you'll see here some of them are so old they're kind of clumpy, and I'm constantly picking out dry bits of paint. I should just toss them, but I'm frugal that way and want to use them all up. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm really excited about this year. I think colors are going to be fun. I have a hard time with one-word prompts, so as I was looking at the list for this month, I saw, I don't know why, but I saw the word mushroom and thought, okay, I can do a mushroom. So this one is inspired by a mushroom. You see that orange paint? That is just, ugh. I think I end up throwing that bottle in the garbage can after this particular painting. And really, I'm just throwing color down to fill up the background with no real plan for the background in mind. I do have an idea of what, well, I want to paint a mushroom on top of this background. And when I started this, I was thinking the mushroom was going to be, the tan and brown standard mushroom. But then when I Googled images for mushrooms, I found some really bright red ones. So that'll go well with this, right? It goes well with the warm colors, and it will fulfill the prompt nicely. So I decided I'd lost my tan color in here. I think that the color of that craft paint is actually called khaki. So it's khaki. I didn't write down all the colors I used, but really I was just using up some old paint. The one I think is brick red, the other one I think is just called orange, and then khaki, and this is a fluorescent yellow. I wanted to put a pop of fluorescent in there, so I'm just adding some bright fluorescent yellow on top. I'm just smushing it around with my fingers, of course. Okay, so this next part, I've never really done this before, but I've seen people do it, so I thought, why not? I want to tone down my background a little bit so the stuff that I put on top pops out more. So this is not old paint, but it looks like old paint. Kind of disappointed. But it didn't leave clumps, it just looked kind of clumpy coming out. And this one is called Taupe, I believe, and it is a Deco Arts color. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm just doing a brayer over it to kind of mute the background a little bit without eliminating it completely. Wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but I kind of like it. But I wanted a little bit of pattern, so I'm actually going to take that same color. Oh, no, never mind, I lied. Craft paint, this one is called Parchment, It's a tad lighter than the taupe. Yeah. And I'm just adding it with a stencil. I do not have the name of this stencil. It was part of a pack of paper stencils that I found on clearance. And the thing I like about paper stencils is I don't have to feel guilty for not washing them, because you can't. I don't really wash my stencils much anyway. I tend to mess them up if I try to scrub the paint off, so I tend to leave them dirty. Unless I'm doing like modeling paste or molding paste, then I want to clean them off. But this, yeah, it can stay. Alright, so it just gives a little bit of pattern and interest into the background. Gives you a little bit more to look at. I don't know, maybe it's too busy. What do you think? You can give me your opinion. Alright, so now I'm going to draw in my mushroom. Just trying to figure out how it would look best. I didn't want it going straight. I wanted it curved. And then I get it drawn on here and I'm like, I need to put something on it. So then I go looking for something. I always kind of just wing it when I'm creating. Even though I did know I wanted to do a mushroom, it was quite intuitive. So this pencil is a Stabilo All. So I'm just outlining faintly the mushroom, and the plan is to hit that with the brush when I paint the mushroom and get some shading. And it works pretty well. You don't want to put it on too dark because that Stabilo All gets pretty dark. And these are my dilutions. I'm adding some water because they're a little thick and lumpy. But see how you just kind of get that natural shading when you hit that Stabilo. I like that. Have to be careful though, get fresh, clean paint when you're doing the center. You'll get those black streaks everywhere if you're not careful. So there we go. And I got a little out of the lines there. Hopefully nobody will notice. Decided I'd use a little bit of the orange to create a bit of a highlight along the edge of the mushroom. You know, I really liked how the mushroom turned out, and I should have scanned it before I added anything else, just so I had that. I could like make copies of it and stuff. And but I didn't. So more of the taupe color. I'm gonna make the stem of the mushroom in this color. Now, just because the color for the month is the warm tones, you don't have to stick 100% to them. I just did. Just for the heck of it, to see what I could come up with. It's a little bit of a challenge, but I thought it would be fun to see what I could come up with using all of that, the same colors. Because normally I would create this and then I'll tell you, I put a fairy on top of the mushroom, and normally I would have gone for a contrasting color to make the fairy stand out more, but actually really had a hard time finding a picture of a person in a magazine because I can't draw one. I mean, I can, but they don't look as good. And the one I found is like the exact same color that I used, I mean, almost the exact same color that I used on the mushrooms. So it all ends up being orange and red, which is okay. It was fun. It's fun just to do the challenges and see what you can come up with. And that's just white to highlight the mushroom. And you know, if I'd have found a black and white picture of a girl, I might have done that on there. That would have looked good too. But I was trying to find a full body picture so that it would fit. Anyway. So I think it's going to be a fun year this year. I hope you guys all give it a try. Try those prompts. Try focusing on warm colors this month and see what you can come up with. So see, here's the girl. She fits, doesn't she? She's almost the right color. And yeah, I put a butterfly wing on her so that she would look like a fairy. And we're just going to glue those all together. And I am using Elmer's Extreme, and it's really tacky, so it kind of pulls on the paper. So when I go to glue the wing, it kind of tears it right off her back. So I have to glue it back on. But it sticks pretty good, so probably not quite as good as the Yoo-Hoo glue stick. But those are a lot more expensive. And harder for me to find unless I buy them online. Alright, so we got her all lined up on there. I'm just smoothing her out with a paper towel. You can use a cloth. Something where, because your fingers can tend to get sticky when you're creating, and you don't want to like tear anything. So using a cloth or something works really well. And I put more of the Stabilo, and now I'm using decoupage to just blend out the Stabilo. And if you use the decoupage, then or Mod Podge, anything like that, that will make it more permanent, so it's not going to bleed. And then I just outlined a little bit. I didn't want to outline too much. And I debated on shading around the mushroom so it looked like it was on the background, but I just didn't feel like that was the right way to go. So I just did a little bit of an outline. And I do it around her as well, but not around her face, because I didn't want a dark line next to her skin. So just do it around her clothes and around the wings. Or the wing. I only had one. We'll pretend the other one's hiding behind it. Alright. So I felt like it needed a little bit more, so I'm just going to take a charcoal pencil and create a little bit of shading around the edges. I was debating whether or not I wanted to just do black like this or actually paint some red around the edges. And who knows, you know, it's sitting in my room. It may get red eventually. So I hope you liked that video. If you did, would you please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.